Hello, we'll start again. Greetings from First Church Unitarian in Littleton. I'm Martha Childs, a member of the Standing Committee. Oops. So whether you are a first timer or an old timer like me, we're so glad that you've chosen to be with us today. Reminders, don't forget the annual ministers survey, which needs to be filled out by the 20th of June. And be sure to check out the Community Matters. There are several upcoming events from RJAC, a forum on the GA, and a collaborative presentation on coming out across generations. So enjoy this perfect June morning and welcome to church.
Good morning. My name is Molly Lozo and I'm the music director. And this is Natalie, my assistant. And I wanted to introduce the prelude today. You're going to hear members of the church choir singing "Gathered Here in the Mystery of the Hour," which you'll find in the hymnal. So you can sing along if you wish or just listen.
Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the body, gathered here in the struggles and the body, scattered here in the mystery of the hour, scattered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near, draw near, draw near, draw near.
Out of the stars in their flight, out of the dust of eternity, here have we come, stardust and sunlight, mingling through time and through space. The stars have we come up from time, out of the stars have we come. Time out of time before time, in the vastness of space, earth spun to orbit the sun. Earth with the thunder of mountains newborn, the boiling of seas. Earth warmed by sun, lit by sunlight, this is our home. Out of the stars have we come. Mystery hidden in mystery, back through all time. Mystery rising from rocks in the storm and the sea. Out of the stars rising from rocks and the sea, kindled by sunlight on earth, arose life. Ponder this thing in your heart. Life up from sea, eyes to behold, throats to sing, mates to love. Life from the sea, warmed by sun, washed by rain, life from within giving birth, rose to love. This is the wonder of time. This is the marvel of space. Out of the stars swung the earth. Life upon earth rose to love. This is the marvel of life. Rising to see and know. Out of your heart, cry wonder. Sing that we live. The words of Robert Weston. Let us worship. It's time now to light our chalice and to say the words of our covenant. An important part of our being together as a congregation are the covenants that we share. And this is our primary covenant. We will be led this morning in the chalice lighting and covenant by Elsa Milburn.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Thank you so much, Elsa. Did you know that Elsa is Martha's granddaughter? I see the resemblance personally. So welcome to First Church Unitarian here in Littleton, Massachusetts. My name is Lara Hoke, and I'm so happy to be the minister serving this incredible congregation. I join with Martha in welcoming you this morning. If you're new with us for the first time, I encourage you, if you haven't already, to check out our webpage, fculittle.org. And when you're there, if you wish, scroll down on the home page and you'll see a purple rectangle that we call the virtual pew card. You can click on that and fill it out, and somebody from the church will contact you if you wish. So you can consider doing that. We today have an exciting day. This is our penultimate service, regular service, if you can call anything about these online services regular, but they've become sort of regular this year. And this Sunday, today, later in the service, we have the presentation of the Keeper of the Flame. So you're going to want to stick around and see who the Keeper of the Flame is this year. I think that's all I wanted to say to you up front. So let's start off with our opening hymn, performed virtually by our wonderful choir. It's number 6, Just As Long As I Have Breath. It is now the time for all ages. So if there are children or kids where you are, please bring them up to the screen. We have a great story this morning, and it has lovely illustrations, I think. And it is told by our own wonderful Debbie Eston. Enjoy.
Good morning. I'm Debbie Eston, and I serve on the RE committee. I'm pleased to bring to you a sweet and salty tale this morning, written by Beth, Ferry, and illustrated by Juana Martinez-Neal. Shawsby by the Sea. Captain Shawsby loved the sea. The sea and he had been friends for a long, long time. She knew him in and out, up and down, and better than anyone. So when Shawsby retired, it was to a small house on a small beach, as close to the sea as he could be. Whenever he needed something, the sea provided exactly the right thing at exactly the right time. Life was just the way Shawsby liked it, salty and sandy and serene until squeaks and squeals sprang from the empty house next door, which was no longer empty. It had been commandeered by a girl and her granny, who planted umbrellas, scattered beach chairs, and boarded Shawsby's deck without permission. Shawsby battened down the hatches, hid when the doorbell rang, and fed their oatmeal cookies to the gulls. He didn't need neighbors. He didn't want neighbors. Neighbors were nosy, a nuisance, annoying. So in return, he left a message written clearly in the sand. No trespassing. Which the sea fiddled with just a little. Sing? The girl read, and did just that. She sang every song she knew while dancing up and down Shawsby's deck. "What now?" she asked. "Now vanish," Shawsby wrote later that evening, adding a starfish exclamation point. And the sea fiddled just a little. "Wish?" the girl read, picking up the starfish, and did just that. She closed her eyes and began, "I wish—" No, Shawsby interrupted, stomping down the stairs. "If ye mean to make a starfish wish, ye must say this. Starfish back to waves so blue, the sea will see a wish come true." "How lovely," Granny said. "We wish you'd come for a cup of tea, Mr. Shawsby." But Shawsby wished to be left alone, so he grumbled and mumbled and hurried inside. He didn't need tea. He didn't want tea. Tea was civilized, friendly, neighborly. What he needed was a new message. Please go away, he wrote firmly in the sand. And once again, the sea fiddled just a little. "Play!" the girl sounded out, and did just that. With Shawsby's shells and stones, with his buckets and shovels. But her towers kept falling down. "Barnacle bottoms," Shawsby muttered, marching out. "You're doing it all wrong. Ye must not use the sun-baked sand. It's the sea sand does the trick." And he showed her how to dig for the wet sand below. But Shawsby was gone. Before long, amazing sculptures decorated the beach. "It's the clamshells ye should be using," Shawsby called from inside. "Come play, Mr. Shawsby," the girl called back. "Shawsby's don't play," he answered, banging the shutters. So the sea decided to meddle more than just a little. She inched her way up to the sand and tickled the girl's toes. She nibbled on the sculptures and slurped away the bucket. The girl tried to grab it, but "Look at me!" the girl called. "Look at her!" Granny gasped. "Oh dear, look at her!" Granny hurried to the water's edge, but Shawsby was already there. "What are ye up to, ye great salty imp?" he asked, scooping up the girl and the bucket. With a great big wave, the sea delivered the pair back to the shore. And there was no stopping the laughing and thanking and hugging that was Shawsby's reward. "I see what ye did," he whispered to the sea as he was whisked away to celebrate. After that, it was easy for Shawsby to have tea with the girl and her granny, and ice cream and lobster and s'mores on the beach. It was easy for him to share his special sea glass. It was even easy for him to see that neighbors could be fun and friends and family. And when he had a moment to himself, Shawsby carved a heartfelt message for the sea. "Thank ye, friend," which the sea fiddled with just a little bit. The end. I hope you enjoyed this salty, sweet tale this morning.
Thank you so much, Debbie. That was great. I appreciate that you loved that story as much as I do. This is the time for sharing our generosity. It's our offering time. First Church Unitarian here in Littleton is self-supporting, and we rely on the generosity of our members and friends to continue on with our good works here and out in the community as well. If you are able this morning to make an offering to First Church Unitarian in Littleton, we so appreciate it. You'll see the address here that you could send in a check made out to First Church Unitarian, or you could go to the website address also there and look for the yellow donate button in the right corner. If you click on that, it will take you through the ins and outs of donating online if you choose to do that. This morning's offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation.
And you'll hear the church choir singing again today, a hymn that you can find in the teal hymnal. It's called Evening Breeze, and it can be sung as a round. Throughout this whole year, actually, you've heard the church choir sing more and more songs from the teal hymnal, with the goal that they start to get in your ear, and when we get back together, we can sing more of them. So here is Evening Breeze.
Evening breeze, spirit song, sings to me when the day is done. Mother Earth awakens me with the heartbeat of the sea. Evening breeze, spirit song, sings to me when the day is done. Mother Earth awakens me with the heartbeat of the Spirit song. Sings to me when the day is done. Mother Earth
That was beautiful. Thank you, choir. We have been tested this past year. We have been put to the test. I'm sure each of us has had our own individual successes and failures during this time of the pandemic and finding our way through it. I'm sure each of us has had our own disappointments and silver linings. And some of us have suffered real loss. But as a community, as a congregation, we here at FCU were tested, and we have proven seaworthy. We are still here. We're still thriving, not just surviving. And we will be together again in this beautiful building and sanctuary. And I can't wait. And I know many of you feel the same way. I'm in a nautical frame of mind. Perhaps you've noticed from some of this morning's readings and the lyrics and so on. I am a veteran of the United States Navy, after all, and summer days are here. And for those of us who live in Massachusetts or New Hampshire, as some of our members and friends do, it's pretty hard not to think of the ocean and the beach when you think of the summer. So I hope you'll forgive me if I slip into some nautical terms here and there this morning. During the ministerial search, your wonderful ministerial search team asked me, among many other things, what my favorite hymn was. And I said, without hesitation, 1064, Blue Boat Home. And they looked at each other and smiled and nodded. And I know I had given a good answer. And they said, it turned out that this was a favorite for this congregation as well. It was a really nice moment. Although since I have learned that Blue Boat Home has become basically the most popular hymn in all of Unitarian Universalism, some have said that it's our free bird, but nevertheless, it was a nice moment of feeling connected with the search team. And Peter Mayer's lyrics always move me and apparently move many other Unitarian Universalists as well. I do indeed think of you as my ship's companions, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. The late great spiritual teacher Ram Dass was fond of saying that we're all just walking each other back home. I like to think that we're all just sailing with each other back home. This past year has really been quite a voyage for the FCU Littleton. We had to batten down the hatches. We had to close down this beautiful building during the pandemic. And unfortunately, as was the case for most people and congregations everywhere, we were sealed off into our separate compartments, each into our own pandemic pod. But technology enabled us to communicate, even through the distance. I think of the words I shared at our opening of Robert Weston, and when you think that star stuff eventually became human minds clever enough to invent computers and the internet and Zoom, and it's amazing, isn't it, what we were able to do to stay connected even while we were apart. Now, happily and hopefully, knocking on wood, it appears that the worst of the storm has passed. It will soon, with any luck at all, be time to come back aboard this beautiful building. I know some of you wonder why we're not underway here already, and I'm anxious to be back with you all here in person too. Believe me, I'm ready to be done being all alone in this beautiful sanctuary physically. But in the Navy and in the military, they talk about leaving no one behind. That's always the goal, though sometimes very hard to achieve. Leave no one behind, forget no one, lose sight of no one. It's true that many of us, and probably it appears most of us, have been vaccinated. And we could choose to be in our building on a Sunday morning. Some congregations are coming back together physically in their congregations, in their space already. However, those are by and large more traditionally Christian congregations that have typical worship services through the summer. If that were the case for us, we might be on a different timeline. But because we have that natural kind of break, change of pace every July and August anyway, it just makes sense for us to try to get some things squared away, as we like to say in the Navy, before we come back here physically. Why not? It makes sense. It's not too pleasant to be here in the summer anyway, without air conditioning, to tell you the truth. So it just makes sense for us to pause and think of everyone and remember that some people are not yet vaccinated. Some for health reasons cannot be vaccinated yet, and some for age reasons. The young children cannot yet be vaccinated. And we're all in this together. And I don't know what changes will happen on this front between now and September, but we have this little gift of time where we can continue making some plans between now and the Sunday after Labor Day. It will be important to be ready to live stream our services that will be here in the sanctuary if all goes well, so that those who cannot be vaccinated due to various health or physical conditions can participate from home. I know there will be a learning curve, probably a steep one, and it will probably take some time before the live streaming of our services is exactly as good as we want it to be. But I do believe we will be at the beginning version 1.0 of streaming services from the sanctuary in September. And it will get better and better, I am sure, as time goes on. And that's just taking care of our shipmates. I don't think we know yet what the vaccination timetable will be for the children, but we want to be in solidarity with them too. We're continuing to think through what this will look like. But surely we don't want to leave our most vulnerable shipmates high and dry. Luckily, we have a very able crew here at FCU, and I have every confidence that we'll figure out something that really makes sense. Mostly this morning, though, I want to think with wonder and awe that in this strange voyage of the pandemic, this strange state of pandemic operations, we did keep our connections going this past year. Our official leaders, the standing committee, and the deacons, the executive team, did an incredible job. I have never, ever seen a group of leaders be so thoughtful and work so hard to keep a church afloat and healthy. Aside from those of you who are partnered with somebody on the executive team, I bet few of you have any idea of the amount of extra hours and effort that went into keeping things going this year. It's truly inspirational. And other volunteers, truly, so many of you deserve special thanks this morning. I do think certainly of our office volunteers this year and our religious education committee, who without pay did much of the work that a professional office administrator and director of religious education would do. And I know that you'll be happy to be relieved of your duties now with a great office administrator starting and our director of religious education starting soon. Our office and RE volunteers have earned the right for some shore leave as the new crew comes aboard. And let's not forget the 2 search teams that found the new crew. Well done. I'm not going to name names today because I'd be reading basically the church directory to you. You were wonderful. You hung in there, participating in online worship in spite of its many imperfections. You hung in there. You continued to raise funds, to give generously, pay pledges, make offerings. You continued in your volunteer roles, treasurer, assistant treasurer, lay pastoral ministers, choir members, clerk, moderator, member reach, RJAC, on and on. You found new ways even to stay connected with more adult religious education than we've had in a long time, and with new small groups forming. You all kept sailing, not merely treading water. I'm amazed and I'm humbled. You were the waves upholding us. All of you who continued to participate and keep this ship, the FCU Littleton, going. You were the waves beneath it all, and I will remember this all my life. I'm going to close my brief homily today and turn it over to our standing committee co-chair, Lynda Kaylor, and after that to our lead deacon, Andy Leyenaar, both outgoing as of the end of the month, for one of their last official duties in those roles, a happy duty of doing the honors of presenting our Keeper of the Flame Award. It is time to recognize one of our finest shipmates. And so, Lynda, I turn it over to you.
Great, thank you. Thank you. It is such a joyous honor to be here today to help to present the Keeper of the Flame Award. The person chosen for this year to be this year's recipient embodies service to the community. Through the years, this person has done so much that it's hard to mention them all. And there's hardly anything that they haven't done. But I'm going to mention a couple highlights. Standing committee, 2 search teams, committee on ministry. In addition, an integral part of so many FCU functions, from jamming in the kitchen to talent auction, always a fixture at the country fair, invaluable help to the office team filling in the gap over the last year. Firehouse Coffee House, back in the day, Eric's right-hand person at the coffee house, takes on any task to help things run smoothly. And finally, has done exceptional work, not only producing and directing our virtual services, but also gathering music selections, producing new musical numbers, and hosting our sharing sessions. The Keeper of the Flame this year goes to the person who has truly kept our flame alive as tech master for our Sunday services, our own Mike Pillman. Now here's where you all get to cheer wildly. It's hard to imagine how this past church year could have gone without Mike's service. And most of all, everything that Mike has done is done with grace and love. I'll turn it over to Andy now.
Well, Mike, how did we get to this point? I mean, how does a kind, loving, gentle man who enjoys being in the background end up here? Well, you know, I think you only have yourself to blame, because I'll tell you why. You're always there helping. Your service to the congregation is amazing. And you've been doing it for, gosh, what? We're looking at like close to 20 years now. I mean, that's amazing. You good counsel, web savvy, tech savvy. You're really savvy. It's amazing. And you're always there, ready to help whenever. And when that sort of thing happens, Mike, you end up with the result of adoration. We as a congregation adore you. And this is the result of it. This puts your name on a plaque for anyone who would care to come into this church to be with this incredibly unique congregation, to see for all eternity how much we adore you. So when you stop to think about it, Mike, it really isn't about you. It's about us. We love you, man. And so with that, I'd like to present to the congregation and whoever else is watching out there on the web, our keeper of the flame, recipient this year, Mike Pillman.
Thank you, Andy. I really appreciate it very much. You know, I feel like I've been a part of a team, with Lara's leadership and her technological prowess. Are you hearing me, Andy?
Oh yeah, I hear you, Mike.
I'm getting texted, and during a service, that normally means something's going wrong, but this time it wasn't. With Lara's Reverend Lara's leadership and her technological prowess, we make a great team. But she's there. Molly in her leadership of the choir and help coordinating everything that goes into the making of these music videos of the choir and things like that. Most importantly, I could not do it without my loyal and wonderful companion by my side. Let's see if I can get her in there. Monica.
Hey, there she is.
So, I really appreciate, her supporting me and making sure that I'm fed and occasionally get a few hours of sleep, things like that. Mostly, I'm part of a great team. I mean, all those things that you mentioned, I do with other people. And it just feels wonderful to be a part of that. And, I thank you and Lynda, and I thank the congregation for this, this honor. And I will try to hold that up for, I guess, all eternity now, right? As you say. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let's give it up, people.
Yay!
Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Mike, thanks for everything.
Yeah, that was just a small round of applause to demonstrate what was sure would be a rousing standing ovation if everybody were here. You pass on the credit, Mike, but boy, you deserve so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't know. I'm so grateful for you. And you're right. We have lots of other worthy people here, but no one more worthy than you. And I thank you, Mike, for everything.
Thank you very much.
All right. I'm going to introduce our closing hymn, and appropriately, I think you won't be surprised that it's 1064 Blue Boat Home. And you'll see footage from the installation service. You'll see none other than our own Mike Pillman serving. Briefly, you'll see footage of him as Marshal that day. And you'll go into our closing words in that video. So stay tuned for our hymn and our closing words. blue cake-colored hands to give you the good word. May we throw ourselves like seed and gather ourselves from our work, letting the past teach us, inspire us, and then letting it go, making way for new dreams. We can do the impossible. It has been done before. We will be settled and unsettled, and settling and unsettling together. May it be for many, many years. You are wonderful ship's companions on this beautiful blue boat. Get your transfer pass. Time to get on board the love train. And join us at St. Matthew's in Acton, because if you don't, I feel sorry. Sorry for you.
I'm getting messages. And our postlude today features the church choir again. It's a song you've heard before. This is How Can I Keep From Singing by Robert Lowry. And I wanted to feature this because this is a video that Mike helped us put together. And he said that we did work too. Of course, we made the recordings. I did the music editing, but he did all the visuals. And I think that took a little bit more work than what the other people were doing. So here is the church choir. Enjoy.